Hey, can AI make you a better racist? Stay tuned to find out. Hi, everyone. Antonio Thornton, the Profit Engineer, here with another installment of Practical AI, where we help your company get faster, smarter, and better with the power of AI. And today we're going to talk about how you can use AI to make you a better racist. Just kidding. We're not talking about that. My video guy said, you need better hooks to get people interested. Well, I thought I'd try that out to see if it worked. Maybe it didn't. Well, but I guess if you're watching to this point, I'm guessing it did. So, there we go. So no, we're not talking about AI and racism, but we are talking about biases in artificial intelligence. First question we want to ask is, do they actually exist? And the answer is a resounding yes. Now, before I dive in, let me say this. This video is not meant to be political. There's no moral underlining. There's no agenda around this video other than to help you and your business use AI more effectively. So just keep that in mind as we're going through this video. So no judgment around anything I'm sharing with you, because that's definitely not the intention. So with that said, yes, there are biases in AI. So we're going to talk about where those biases came from, the overcorrection of those biases, and what you can do in your business to get better results from artificial intelligence. So where do AI biases come from? Well, let's really think about it for a moment. When you consider the creators of AI, the training data that it's built upon, when you look at the data scientists, the programmers, the coders, the people who actually built a lot of the platforms, the fact of the matter is that a lot of them were white men. So there are going to be biases built into the code because the coders have inherent biases, not because they're wrong, not because they've done anything other than being normal human beings. We see things through our background, through our experiences, and that's just the reality of the scenario. So when you have white men creating a thing, they're going to create it from that perspective. There was a study done a while back that said, if you do a generic image generation in AI, typically it's going to be a white man. And matter of fact, we can test that live here as we love to do, and we'll see what type of results we get testing this live. So I'm going to say, create an image of a person walking down the street. All right, so let's see what results we get. Now, oh, by the way, if you have not seen ChatGPT's new image generation, it is fantastic. Much better resolution in the images that it creates. It's just a really great all around, but that's for another video entirely. But as you can see, the image generation does take significantly longer, but it's more than worth it. All right, so as we see here, we got kind of a white-ish person. All right. And again, this comes from just typing in person walking down the street. You could see that there's an attempt to be racially ambiguous, but it's pretty much a white guy. And again, nothing wrong with that. And that's just the reality of artificial intelligence. If you ever ask it to do something generically like a person, it's most likely going to be a white man. Not all the time. Here's an interesting thing I've found. Because of the fact that I, as a black man, have programmed ChatGPT through its memory feature, I will tend to get more images of black men, just as a general rule, than other people do, because ChatGPT is pulling from its memory of me, thinking that that's more likely what I would want to see. Now, that's not always the case, but that's what it does, and that's just a part of artificial intelligence. It's artificial. No inherently built-in biases, but it does come from who created the platforms. Now, you'll also find that if you type in smart person, you'll find that it's typically someone with glasses. That's just the reality of it, because that's the way the world up until this point has viewed a smart person wearing glasses. And these are biases that are built into ChatGPT and basically every other platform. Now, what you also recognize, though, is that every platform has its own biases. Mistral is a French-based AI, and it has biases based on UK, French, the cultures there. So these are things that are just the reality of how things work. And you also find that English tends to be the baseline language of most AIs, and you get better results in English than you do with other languages when you're using AI. Because again, when we think about the people who created it, there's your answer. So I reiterate, I don't believe any of this is done intentionally, maliciously. It's just an inherent nature of human beings to do things that reflect our background, our experiences, our history, our way of communicating. That's just the fact of how things work. Now, this can work outside of just images. This can go for chat bots. This can go for recommendations. This can go for searching. This can go especially for content. So knowing this and understanding this allows you the opportunity to prepare yourself to get the most out of AI. Now, as an aside, there was a lot of public outrage around AI for a while, talking about the racism and the other things that were there. So the companies listened to this and they tried to implement fairness rules in some of their programming. And I believe that overcorrected and went too far on the opposite end of the spectrum. There was one example where someone typed in German soldiers, World War I, and it had a woman soldier and a black guy as a soldier. Really? So obviously it went too far on the opposite end of the spectrum. They were trying to appease the people who were saying it was racist. And then those folks were saying, oh, AI is woke and being... People love to find things to complain about. That's a whole nother conversation, but I digress. But you would find that AI would avoid certain topics entirely. You would find that asking questions that would be, let's say, how would a black man respond to this thing? If you were to type that into AI, it would tell you, I'm sorry, I can't answer that based on ethnicity. And these were some of the things that I felt diminish the value of artificial intelligence because it was trying to overcorrect what didn't necessarily seem to be a correction in the first place. We live in the world that we live in, and we know that we live in the world that we live in, so we're going to get the results based on the world that we live in. So did we really need to overcorrect? No. What we needed to be as users is we needed to be smarter. Don't type in generic things like person walking down the street. If you want a Hispanic woman, type that in. If you wanted a Venezuelan child, type that in. Another bias there was that you would typically find that most people, when you typed in generic blah, 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 they were physically fit. You didn't find people who were overweight. You didn't find people who were underweight. They were typically physically fit because, again, biases are built in. So what you want to do is talk to the AI in the way that you need to get the results. You're programming in any system, you're going to get the results that you get. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have great inputs equal great outputs. So if you are giving AI great inputs, you're going to end up getting great results. So keep in mind that AI is not a mind reader. It needs specific instructions from you. AI is simply a tool. It's not biased in and of itself. It's pulling from data that's created by a group of people who saw the world in a very specific way. So it's not a mind reader. It needs specific instructions from you. And one of the things you can do to help AI to get you better results is upload examples of what you are looking for, whether it's an image or content. One of the best things you can do in AI, particularly if you're having it write something like a social media post, an article, a blog, or anything of that nature, one of the best things you can do, especially when creating content, is upload examples of what you are looking for. If you want AI to write very close to your voice, take your existing articles, your existing Facebook posts, your existing blogs, and upload those into AI and say, take all of this data and write something similar in the same writing style, the same voice. And AI is very good at finding your voice from your existing material. So then your AI is biased towards what? You, which is great, which is fine, because you have your own biases, whether you believe you do or not. That's the beauty of artificial intelligence. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care what your thoughts or your beliefs are. It gives you what you ask it to. And this is how you get better results for AI. Now, with that being said, so if you're an entrepreneur creating content for your company, or you have an employee who's creating content on the behalf of the company, you can have that employee upload that content in order to get better results. You can create what's called a prompt library, where you identify the great results that you've gotten, and then look at the prompt you use and keep that prompt in another document. So whenever you want those same results, you can copy and paste it into whatever your AI platform is to get the results you want. And with that, one of the things you can do is just test to get different results. Try different prompts to see if it's getting closer to what it is you want. And like I said, when you find what you want, copy, paste, use that over and over again through building a prompt library. And if you are a service provider where you're creating content on behalf of your clients, again, the best thing to do is to get their content, build new content around their content in order to more closely match their voice. And that's how you can work through AI biases. If that was helpful, go ahead and drop us a like and smash that subscribe button to get more practical AI tips for your business. Talk to you soon.